Greetings metal community and welcome back to this video. Yeah, this is my video number 300, so I thought what better way to kind of do a couple of contest entries or celebration of a couple of channels that have reached the 200 milestone, and that is Kris over at the Green Saber channel and Bill over at the 9th Circle channel. And yeah, I will also give a shout out to collecting death metal with Gruesome Sean. I think that's his channel name, but Gruesome Sean just reached 500 subscribers, and also George G's Room of Rock just passed 800 not long ago. So yeah, congrats to those two channels as well. But this this video is for Bill and Kris. So yeah, I will just get straight into them, so don't make the video too long. First, for Bill over at the 9th Circle, he had two questions, and first one was kind of what is your two most prized items in your collection? And for me that was very difficult, because it could be favorite albums, it could be, I mean, some of the old most worth albums, price wise. I don't think it meant that, I could pull out the two first Gruesome CDs and say that is my most prized items. But some albums have history behind them and stuff like that. But I went a little bit different this time, just to and that's, I'm a kind of a compilation guy. That was important back in the days, and always love it when stuff like that come out. This is a kind of 2-in-1. This is the Swedish death metal by Daniel Ekeroth, and also the compilation 3-disc edition. You could get this on vinyl as well, but back then I picked it up on CD. Thick, great book with just a lot of interviews and stories from the early days, and this compilation of Swedish death metal, demo material, and some of these bands went and got really big, and other just kind of released demos and disappeared. And sitting and reading in the book and listening to the music, that's something that I really like. I could have picked out the kind of bonded by blood England thrash book as well, but I like this better, so I picked out this. So that's kind of 2-in-1. Also, kind of, we talked about figures, films, everything. I bought the kind of Lord of Rings set with the figures, and I really love these two figurines here. So they're kind of like standing on a bookshelf and keeping the book in places, and pretty heavy and really cool. You have the Gollum figure and the city that names eludes me. So yeah, that was kind of my two most prized items. There are many more, but it's difficult for me to kind of just say these two are the most prized items. But so thanks for doing it difficult for us. The second question was, I do have notes for the questions, so I would remember them. Was why you collect physical formats still, when you can get all on digital and stuff like that. For me, it's several reasons why. First of all, I just like physical formats. I think the kind of ritual to put something on, especially the vinyl. Take off the dust and put a needle on and just sit in your chair and kind of get a great sound out of your stereo. You don't get that with digital files. They sound, I mean, digital files do their job for whatever, if you have music on your phone and stuff like that. But when I want to sit down and listen to music, I want to go into my collection and look at the actual stuff and pull them out, instead of scrolling and randomly pick something. It's kind of when you go and watch your spines on the CDs or the albums, and that's when you decide what album you want to listen to, and that is important. And sound wise, of course, vinyl and CD sounds better for the most part than digital files. And another thing is that it's about supporting labels and bands with money, because Spotify don't generate a lot of money for metal bands. You have to be really big to get a check in the mail, and I've talked to a lot of several bands that have, they don't get any money from Spotify, so it's much better to use Bandcamp and buy the albums from there. And I do that rarely. If I can't get hold of a copy or something like that, I might pick it up on Bandcamp. But yeah, and also if labels didn't sell physical formats, they will not, be putting bands on many tours, especially abroad. Then the bands kind of had to play live at their local scene, and they wouldn't have money to go around, playing maybe the big festivals. But labels do a lot of work when it comes to live stuff as well, so you have to have that in your head. If a band sells a lot of physical formats, it's bigger chance that they will get a tour, or get out there and play live. And I don't watch much stuff live now, but back in the days that was important as well. So, but yeah, physical formats will always be a kind of just to have it, really own it. If you buy a digital file, you really don't own it. You just kind of borrow it in a way. And yeah, it is mainly because I feel that I support the bands more. Also, not just the sound and everything. It's just having stuff from the band, like T-shirts and everything. It's just way more satisfying for me, and I enjoy it way more than digital files. So yeah, that's mainly the reason why physical formats are. It's just better in so many ways than digital files. But I mean, not everybody can afford it like I can, and that is of course something you have to, buy your most precious albums, and then you can use Spotify if you can't afford to buy as much shit as I do. But it's individual. So yeah. Then over to Kris over at Green Saber's channel, and yeah, he had 4 questions or tasks or whatever. First was 2 albums you love that formed your musical taste. And this was difficult because you have variants of black metal, thrash metal. What got you into that? But one early album for me was Rainbow Rising. This has always been a kind of favorite of mine, and first time I heard Stargazer, I was just blown away, and that was pretty early on in my kind of going into that. I could have picked AC/DC as well. Motorhead was early, Iron Maiden of course instrumental, but Rainbow and especially Stargazer's song is just one of the kind of most impactful songs when I was a kid, to say that. The second one is kind of the same. It's one song that I had on a compilation, but it was the most nasty, evil thing that I ever heard. I heard this song when I was kind of 11, had it on a Metal Killers compilation, and that was Venom, black metal. I talked about this before, but when I heard the song Black Metal, I was just blown away. I rewinded that tape. It was the first song on the second side, I think, on the tape, and I rewinded that tape so many times that it broke just to listen to black metal. It was a good comp, but it was just this song over and over and over again, and fucking love it. Still love it to the day. I mean, the album itself is a good album, but black metal is this enormous standout song that, just absolutely blew my mind away and made me go into or search out more evil and brutal stuff. Second question was 2 bands, which the second album is your favorite by the band. I picked Vital Remains, Forever Underground. Yeah, it's their second release. I don't remember the first one that well. I don't remember the name even, but this was yeah. This album is fucking killer and still my favorite by them. I just love the vocals and the kind of mid-paced, heavy death metal that they play on this album is just supreme. I fucking love this album. This is awesome, awesome death metal. And also the second one is kind of... There's no question that this is the best album in my opinion. And that's... since we're talking about Kris and England, you know, Paradise Lost Gothic, by far my favorite Paradise Lost album, and a unique sounding album. There's really not been any album sounding like this ever made again, so yeah, just that dry, crunchy sound on it, it's just fantastic. And yeah, you can put this on every day of the week and enjoy it. So awesome album. Yeah, two albums you didn't like at first and then grew into it. There's not a lot of those in my collection because normally I kind of not discarding an album by a band. It has to do with styles for the most part. If the style is not what I normally listen to, I just shine away from it. But this first one was a band that I had two great albums, and then this came out, which was quite different, and that's Sentenced Amok. I really didn't like this album when it came out. I was so disappointed. This is the original Magic Arts, Century Media. Yeah, just weird, kind of gothy sounding. Felt it was boring as well, but there was one song, the Nefente song, I think, that has this kind of battery riff in it, and that made me go back and listen to this album, and it kind of slowly grabbed hold of me, and now I think it's a great album. But it took me I was so disappointed in the beginning with this album, but now I think it's a great album. Or I've done that for many years, but it probably took me a year. This is sitting in a shell, and I didn't want to listen to it. But yeah, there was something there, and it, you know, made me go there. Another one was kind of same deal, really, changing from death metal to something more gothy. Tiamat's Wild Honey. Again, didn't care much for this. I bought it because of the first two albums, but again, you know, Magic Arts, Century Media, original CD. But then they just clicked with me, and yeah, I think this album is fucking brilliant. They took a wild turn and shouldn't work, but yeah, definitely worked for me. So that's yeah, that's my two picks for that. I could have picked something else, but this was kind of the two first that popped into my head. Yeah, last song, things you hate about the modern day collecting. You say everything, you know. It's kind of difficult. Everybody knows that I'm a black vinyl guy, and I don't like this splatter shit and white vinyl, clear vinyl, and all that. I do, you know, think it's okay if there's kind of it's tied up with the cover. I think that is kind of a thought behind it. But there's so many random shitty colors out there, and I don't understand why people want that instead of a pure, clean black vinyl. And we can go and talk about why and if and sound and all that in another video, but that is one thing. Another thing is, of course, the prices, and there is the price difference between certain labels are so big that I don't understand. You know, I don't understand why Osmose can sell an album for 20 euros or 18 euros, but Nuclear Blast and Listenable needs close to 40 euros for an album, or at least 35 euros for a single album. I just don't know. I don't understand why the difference are so big. You know, I do understand that a vinyl needs to be 25 euros or something like that because of the costs. Everything has been more expensive, and that has to do with material and everything and stuff like that. But I don't understand why the bigger labels need to have. I mean, yeah, they have bigger stuff and more expensive, but they would have sold more albums if they kind of kept the prices down. There's a lot of albums that I don't buy on vinyl anymore because from those labels because they are just too expensive. The other thing is, you know, shipping. Shipping costs has been shooting through the roofs over in Europe as well, and there again, certain labels are very good at finding the cheapest option and a good option. Others, again, I was wanting to order some stuff from Listenable Records now because they had a sale on some very cool black editions of Suffocation and stuff like that. And yeah, the shipping was terrifying. It was just, I mean, the vinyl would be like on sale would be like 40 euros with shipping. And so of course I didn't go there. And other labels like High Roller, they have one set price and you can order pretty big amount of vinyls for that. But Listenable Records, they just add on for each album, and they really don't. It doesn't seem that they want to sell to collectors. They want to sell to distributors and stuff like that because it's easier for them. I don't know. That annoys me. So yeah, that's two things that annoys me. And of course, Relapse Records doing 10 different color variants, and you know, none of them black, but like so many different color variants. It's stupid. I think that is just a kind of they have seen that they can sell more albums by doing a lot of different colors because there are collectors who needs them all. But of course, it's our collecting habits that are in the wrong there. But yeah, just kind of, you know, prices, color, or different variants, and yeah, I would hope they can kind of keep it a little bit more kind of easy and clean. So yeah, that was my response for those two videos. Go and check them out. I'm very surprised that they only have 200 subscribers, but because I think they're two great channels. So I will link it up below so you can go and check them out. And yeah, this video was way too long, and in the background we have been listening to the remix of Purgatory Afterglow. And as I said, if you want to buy these reissues, I would kind of suggest to you to pick up the CD version because the remixes are very well done and way better than the remastered. Not way better, but better than the remastered stuff even on vinyl. So yeah, another great reissue by Mr. Swanne. Thanks as always for watching. There will be a couple of massive collection updates coming because yeah, I have probably 50 albums sitting there to be shown. So I'll be right back with updates. Be sure.